everyone, it's Lucy from My Crazy Craft Life, and I'm here today with the design team post for Scrapping for Less. Today I'm going to be using a couple products from Sunny Studios and the paper pack Puppy Hugs and Kisses from Scrapping for Less. And the stamps that I'm going to be using is Puppy Dog Kisses, and then I'm going to be using Rick Rack dies from Sunny Studios. And the dies are kind of cool because one of them actually cuts out a piece of the Rick Rack. The other one gives you the border, but then a stitched border on top of that. And the other one cuts out a very thin edge for a card. Now, those are all the papers that you get in the paper pack. I stamped a couple of the I stamped both of the images that are part of this set with some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and I just color them super quick with some Copics, nothing special here, and I cut them out with my scan and cut. Then I picked the paper patterns that I wanted to use on this card, and I am able to then start cutting out some strips for the Rick Rack and kind of decide on how I was going to create my pattern. And I do end up with a panel that I cut down to about 3 3/4 inches wide and 5 1/2 inches long, because I'm going to have it the whole length of the card, but I wanted it to be a little bit shorter to kind of show that border. And then after I cut it down to that, I put the border on there, right up against the edge on both sides, the one that cuts out the border with the stitch on there. For the Rick Rack, when I cut it, I did follow the pattern. So some of them I knew I wanted horizontal and some I wanted vertical, so I followed the pattern with those so that the hearts or the paws were in the right direction that I wanted it to go in. And then I just kind of adhered that center panel and then adhered the Rick Rack kind of almost in a weave pattern. I put some horizontally, some vertically, and kind of went back and forth with it. I also cut out a circle die of from one of the pattern papers that's going to be my focal point. I really love Rick Rack. When I was a kid, I used to beg my mom to get it for me all the time. They used to sell it in, it would have like 3 or 4 strips of it in, and sometimes it would actually have tape or some type of glue on the back, so you could just adhere it automatically. It was like self-stick Rick Rack, and sometimes you had to put your own. But every time I would get her to buy me some, I would end up having it all over the house because I don't know why, I just loved it. I used to put it on my books all the time. Just pretty much whatever I could find, toys, things throughout the house. My mother was not happy. I enjoyed it, but my mother was never happy with that. I did use foam squares on the circle to pop up that focal point, and I decided to put the sentiments on the circle, which is a problem when you already put the foam squares on the back of the paper. So I ended up having to add some more to it to kind of give it a level surface. I tell people all the time, make sure you stamp your sentiments, and one of these days I am actually going to take my own advice and do that, because I am always forgetting to stamp the sentiment on whatever type of card I'm working until the end, and most of the time I have something on there that's going to not have it right. So that's what I did, and it ended up working out okay, but just in case you want to make something like this, make sure you stamp your sentiment first. To finish off, I have a huge box of enamel beads that I made from perler, or no, not perler, from the pony beads that I melted in an old toaster oven outside. Make sure if you do decide to do that, you do it outside because the fumes are horrible. But I popped on a couple of those that matched, and then I just used some Spectrum Noir sparkle pen on the little bow on top of the dog because it was adorable. And that is really it for this card. I loved how this card came out. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Rick Rack, and I think it's super cute. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope everybody has a wonderful day.